Alright, tubers, Mr. Adam never took my camera out of the Explorer as we were doing a little thing last night. And so it's nowhere on this bench of mine. Damn it, Adam. I got some tunes. I at least have that. Turn that down. I'm just doing a little vlog video. Working on my Lincoln here. Getting ready to... I'm going to set up some light here in just a second. Or at least I'd like to. Let's see. Let's make a difference. Nope. Got a brand new intake coming. It should be here Wednesday, I think. It is Monday. I'm just going to peel her apart. We're going to roll her in and out if we have to. I don't care. I want to get a head start because that way when I get it, come home after work, I'm just going to slap her back together. So I have a brand new... Now let me give you a rundown of the stuff I have on the way for this thing. I have brand new spark plug wires. I've got brand new ignition coils. I got Motorcraft ignition coils. I got Motorcraft spark plugs. We put... I forget what we put in here, but I'm going to take them out. And I'm just going to put Motorcraft in it. I think I just mentioned the new wires. Of course, the intake manifold. I've also got a new serpentine belt and idler pulleys for this thing. The idler pulleys on this are pretty much shot, and they're making some pretty awful racket. I'm hoping I don't have to remove the alternator. I mean, if I have to, I can remove it, but I think we can get away with not removing it. We just need to remove that top bracket. Of course, all the hoses and stuff we need to get out of the way. This thing has been leaking right around here where this heater hose is. And someone mentioned something about there's another person who did a bypass or whatever on that. And didn't mean to bite your head off. I was just saying, even if I bypass the heater right there, it doesn't do me anything because the leak is still at the actual intake, the plastic part of the intake. It's not anything after that. So, you can't even put a plug in there because if you do that, you'll just make the split worse. And because the split's there, it's still going to leak. So, this looks like it was done before. So this is probably a Doman intake. And that's what I have on order. So, yeah, it looks like it's not too bad of a job. We got to remove, of course, the intake snorkel needs to get taken off. We need to disconnect the fresh air inlet for the PCV stuff. And of course, we need to be careful with removing these plastic hoses and whatnot. Yeah, you see I have my tripod all set up all clever and everything, and then I realized Adam's got my camera. Alright, so I got a lot of the stuff unhooked and unplugged from it. Got the EGR disconnected. I think if we remove the alternator, the intake will lift up a little bit and come forward. There's a pretty good gap down there, so I think we'll be able to do that. Excuse me. Because I don't want to have to undo this from wherever the hell it's at, which just becomes disappeared. But I'm finding, so this has got that seal, that doesn't, that doesn't, and that doesn't. So this means I gotta go to the junkyard and find all those seals, because these wiggling around like that probably doesn't help. So yeah, just getting ready to pop that intake off, but I'm gonna blast this thing one more time with the air gun. Yikes, what a mess. Also, throttle body's a little gross. So that's the thing. I'm not going to disconnect the fuel lines. What I'm going to do, because we got flex right here, which, oh, that's nice. Actually, this is the insulation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the fuel rail, and we're just going to lay it over and the injectors will probably pop out and put in a baggie so they're not getting nastified. Check this out. Might get an injector O-ring kit. I wonder if this one's seeping a little. Look at the downstream on this. Yeah, check that out. All that crud. That's where the EGR is. I'm gonna get some throttle body cleaner and blast this thing out. Yick! I like having tunes out here. So, got one rail off. This electrical harness for the injectors and one of the temp sensors just unlatches from the fuel rail when you move it to the side. We're getting more access to everything. Got the alternator out of here. Once we lay this stuff over, now we can. I probably could have started this earlier, but I just got ahead of myself. But we could drain the coolant and then now be able to pull the intake. And of course, now you can see. Come here, bud. This is where a leak is. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a big old crack in the intake boss there. You got a piece of something down there. I'm gonna have to pump up my compressor some more and blast those out. I asked Adam to pick up a injector O-ring kit because one of these was real hard to get out, and I got it out, but the rest just came out like butter. So I think it needs the O-rings. So I want to get that done. And you know, that probably gives vacuum leaks down in here, I would imagine. So I'll put new injector O-rings in, and that'll probably help with something. And of course, not having a leaking intake also helps as well. So yeah. Alright, got that old crappy intake out. Been noticing some extra things on top of, you know, not just the leaking intake and stuff. But you know how earlier we had a leak right around here, and then later we developed that leak, as you can see right here on this main boss. I wouldn't even thought about trying to repair that, but it's just cracked. So when I unbolted the intake, I didn't have to work any harder to get it off. It just came off. I literally, last bolt came out and it just moved. And sometimes these can get stuck on pretty good. But here are the gaskets. I think this was, I don't remember what side this was. This is probably, no, this is probably this one here. Yeah, it's the driver's side. Look at this, blowing out. Now if you look at, this is probably hard with the GoPro, but if you look at this right here, how this is all chewed up. Look at how chewed and crusted it is. You know what I think that's from? And this is what I noticed when I pulled the intake off. There was all kinds of schmutz built up all around here and there. And I'm wondering if somebody just, you know, pull the intake off, slap the new one in, and call it a day. So all of this, there's like plastic reinforcement here. This is broke out where, you know, there was obviously not a clean surface. It's all, the surface here is all pitted. So that's because they didn't clean the surface, and whatever dirt was there let this thing seep a little bit, and then it just sent her down the road. Now same thing with the passenger side. This thing was just gross. So this is the back. Yeah, see, same thing here. This piece of plastic broke off, and it's in the coolant system somewhere. And this probably is in the radiator somewhere, and it's probably just being filtered off by the actual radiator itself. That's pretty bad. And this is all just gross. It's just nasty. So, I mean, I'm not even gonna, I'm throwing them away. Not reusing those. So, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of vacuum leak around the intake manifold. So that's probably why this thing was only getting 20 miles to the gallon. I mean, I got 23 out of it, but I was driving, considerably slow. I think this has got a case of the, it's not running optimal because of this whole, this is just not set up right. Still says Ford on it. So here's the thing. We do know a little bit of history about this car from the previous owner. It's had a lot of, whenever something needs to be down, like the AC compressor at one point had crapped out, so they had the dealer replace it. And speaking of which, this came off, not all the way, so it still's got the shims, but that came off, so I gotta get a bolt. I think it's an FS10, so I'm just gonna steal one from this and probably go size it up and just get another one, slap it in there. So I was looking at that, and then this intake, I was thinking it was a doorman, a doorman, but it appears to be a Ford one in it. It doesn't really seem to be any different than a doorman. And then there's this. Check this out. So there must be, this must be why, yeah, look at all that crud right there. And then this is, does that look broken to you? It's missing a piece of plastic here. And it's also missing a piece of plastic here, and there's the rubber seals popping out. This seal here is popping out. So I wonder if our main coolant leak is right here, and then under here then you had another leak there, and then you got a leak here. And this is a Ford intake. Alright, Tibbs, back out working on the Lincoln. Got my camera back from Adam. He had it in the Explorer. I forgot to take it out. He thought he took it out. He didn't take it out. Nobody took it out. Got a box of parts here. Just a few things that I ordered. Still waiting on the intake manifold. And my ignition coils. I got new Motorcraft ignition coils. I was trying to get Motorcraft coil wires or plug wires, but I ended up going with these because they were just cheaper and come in stock. So you gotta skip out somewhere. Got a new Daco Poly V or Poly Rib belt here. What was this, like 20 bucks or something like that? I'm gonna match it up with the old one. And I got two new AC Delco. Look at that, it's a GM pulley. Idlers, because that idler there and the one on the tensioner are both pretty smoked, so we're gonna shit can those. I'm gonna start on the driver's side and start pulling those spark plugs out and put new ones in. I've already blew out all the holes and stuff, so they're nice and clean. So I got 8 Motorcraft plugs. I've got to gap them and all that stuff, so I'm not going to bother showing any of that because it's going to be a lot of crap. What do we got for a freaking gap here? And we're probably going to go, I'll probably go 054 on this one. So yeah, I'm going to be working on that. And then here in a moment, I'll throw up the camera and we'll replace the idlers together. And we'll see if our belt is the same. I'd like to, have a new belt and all that stuff on there. I was going to do the water pump on this, but I'm going to save that for later. Right now this one's not leaking, so we'll deal with it another time. So I'm thinking about keeping this as a sort of my daily driver. And that's why I'm kind of spending some money on it. Plus it's got the V8. I've been wanting a V8. I'm still going to get that Mercury from Todd. So we're gonna fix that thing up a little bit more and clean it up, and not sure what I'll do with it. So this is what was down in there. That's what we put in here last time. Auto lights! Adam's like, I don't like auto lights. And then he buys auto lights. I don't know. Platinum something. Just put single platinum in here. These came off in the order of the cylinders, which I have not memorized. So this was the far back. This was second to the rear. And then this was the next one up. And this was the very front one. They all look about the same. So she's running all right. Well, I guess I'll be poking at that later. It's got a you guys have probably seen this one roll up and down the street. It's got that nasty lifter tick. Similar to what my 94 has, or rather Adam's 94, since he's not his rig. This got some weird brake light wire. There's some sketchy wiring going on back there, so. Alright, tubes. New AC Delco pulley. Where's this made at? Oh, made in Canada. I can roll with that. This roll's pretty nice. So listen to this. It's brand new. Okay. Those bearings in there just feel so good. The bearings that are in this are crunchy and all the seals are dry rotted. I tried packing it with grease. Didn't really do much. You can see what we're working on. Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to pull these spark plug wires out. I don't care what order they are because I got a new doohickey. Well, yeah, let's just get these out of here. Yeah, because I want to route these plugs a certain way. Come on, get off of there. Okay. Well, shit, I never tightened this up. I think this bolt's supposed to go on that tensioner anyways. I was a little drunk and I couldn't figure out what went where. Okay, so I gotta take the tensioner out. You know, I've never had one of these before. This thing has worked pretty good. So there's 3 bolts on this. There's this one right here, and then there's another one down below it. Of course, the fan's kind of in the way. Let's see, can we get that one? Just her hand. You know, I jacked this car up like probably almost 6 inches with the jack. Oh my god, it's so much nicer to work on. Now this will come out. Oh, the seal didn't even stay on it. Just hooper jooped. Let's see. We look the same. Do we fit the same? Yeah. Nice. Okay. So we're on the tensioner, so you can just go ahead and throw that in your garbage can. Which I now have one in the garage here. It's like, where do I throw this garbage? It's nice to have my garage back a little bit. I can work on stuff. Jimmy, you didn't even tighten that. I was having issues with this because I didn't pay attention to how the pulley actually goes on here, and the way it goes is it's the opposite of how the idler is sitting. I really should put a water pump in this, but I'm not going to. So yeah, you see how this is set up? This faces the engine block. Alright, see, what size were we on this? Was this also a 15? Yes, it was. I just replaced a set of idler pulleys on a 7.3 Power Stroke. Those things were, one of them was, the bearing was so far gone that it was causing the pulley to walk, and then the alignment of the belt was thrown off, so it was just constantly squeaking. You can kind of see what I'm doing down here. Also, when I was here the last time, that's my compressor clutch disc was popped out of its spot. That all looks appropriate. There's this stud that goes down here, and then this bolt here comes down here. Of course, this one here is like, I'm going to be a little sticky. Okay, snug that one up. And we'll just snap this one right off the block. I actually wasn't paying attention to this one. There's something I wanted to do. Our belt will still slip through that. It's actually a tab that's going on. I don't know exactly what the tab does. It's kind of just there. Alright, I'm going to go match up. Well, first of all, we should probably finish tightening down things like this stud here. Oh, you dickbag. Okay. That was a good catch, huh? And I think this is the 13. I'll just snug that down. We're good to go on the idlers now. Much nicer, so much smoother. And I was just checking everything else. Everything else feels good. This AC pulley is pretty good. So tensioner here itself is still pretty good. So I should take care of our power steering sounding noise. I got a little cup of joe. It's a little bit of milk, mostly coffee. When I was younger, it used to be mostly milk and a little bit of coffee. Of course, this belt no longer has numbers on it, so when I went to order it, I kind of had to guess. And it appears I got the right belt. Something just came in. What's this? What is this? Oh, I see Motorcraft part numbers. Oh, look at this. Ford Motorcraft. Yeah, baby. Now I need the knife again. Alright, here we go. Been working out in the rain, working on this Explorer. Yo, yeah, baby. Brand new Motorcraft. Yep. Don't forget your radio interference capacitor. This thing's gonna run like a top. Before we go too much further, let's like that. And with the old. Oh, look at this. Come here. Whoops. Almost had a Jimmy moment there. Alright. We're in like sin. Alright, tubers. It's later in the evening. I've been paid with alcohol and food, and I'm actually not that drunk. I'm just maintaining. I can't get drunk off of this, and I've been wanting to get drunk, but I have to switch to hard alcohol to get a buzz.
Holy shit, I'm sweating!
Like your suit that's like way too big for you. You know when they're like, what size is it? I'm like 2X short, but then all the other sides were like weird. They didn't have like quite the size I thought you would wear, so I'm like 2X short leg. Well,
It's like,
and then you got that hood that's got that.
Is this little fucking thing they put on here?
I think that just accidentally went over your head. It's not supposed to.
No, I meant like I can't, like, it's like every time I put it on, I'm like trying not to strangle myself. It's like,
And then you got that hood, and you're like, yeah, you're not gonna be cold.
like I don't know problems here, but
And then I got my suit, which is like, yeah, it's all right, but
I swear to try.
his is like good for like snow and stuff.
Just like you see me in the yard, just
Yeah. What is this? What's the brand? Iron Tough.
yeah.
Yeah. Did that say frigid wear?
I think it did.
Refrigerator.
I'm refrigerator. I'm starting to sweat.
Michael, that's his Christmas present I got for him. I'm like, you are not gonna be cold.
No, I'm actually gonna have to take the hood off. I'm starting to fucking sweat my balls off. Well, if that's what you were trying to do, you are.
According to Amazon, that's rated for like -50. So I'm like, that's it.
You're like, he's cold.
So the only thing I just want to be careful of this. I'm trying to get the O-ring off, but I don't want to damage the Herbity board. And wow, you guys are fogged up.
I don't know, that screen's pretty fucking wet.
This camera got pretty wet, and so the screen is all like, nerd.
I don't have enough Tuborg in my Tuborg. Yes, and you can be that guy that just orders the O-rings, or you can just be the guy that orders the O-ring service kit, which comes with every damn thing. Because you're like, God, I really should have got that one thing when I finally tore it apart, but I didn't. So I'm gonna go back to the Autoport store now.
Well, what I'm worried about is this guy here, the seat.
Did you open the service kits? I don't know what I think.
Yeah, they just came with the O-rings.
Yeah.
It's just the O-ring.
Well, it could be those. You could band-aid them and then replace them later.
Yeah, I get the 100 horse and the 20, the 30, the 110 pound.